The EP Podcast. Heard everywhere podcasts can be found, and always at theeppodcast.com.
Fun episode of the EP Podcast today. I really enjoyed recording both segments. The guests were amazing. You're going to get to hear them over 30 minutes of good from my bar here in my basement in Evergreen Park. My name is Chris. Hi, I'm your neighbor. We're going to go to one of the coolest spots in Evergreen Park. It's our second journey there. The record shop on 95th, where their front window display is catching attention because they're constantly changing it, and it's really cool. We're going to be talking music, how to start a record collection, some events they have coming up. There's so much going on over there. They even have something available to the high school kids as they get ready for prom. I enjoyed this sit down. I think you will as well. Our other guest from Little Company of Mary OSF, it is Mental Health Awareness Month. And what I like about that interview is we recorded it right after I got back from my own therapy. So I'm open. Like, we have some fun. If you've ever thought about working on your own mental health, if you've ever wondered whether or not therapy is right for you, listen to the second segment of this show for Mental Health Awareness Month with OSF Little Company of Mary. This whole episode brought to you by the First National Bank of Evergreen Park. Your child's bright financial future starts with learning good money habits early on in life. Help them get ahead with a Junior Savers account from the First National Bank of Evergreen Park. With a Junior Savers account, kids earn interest on every dollar they deposit so they can watch their money grow. My little guy gets a statement every month so he can see the interest. He gets to open up the mail and see what he made. Show your kids how fun and rewarding saving can be and set them up for success early. No minimum deposit to open. Daily minimum balances don't kick in until they're 22. So start with anything. Get into that iconic building at 95th and Pulaski, right there on the corner of the First National Bank of Evergreen Park, member FDIC. Let's talk some music and have some fun at the record shop on 95th. The EP Podcast out at the record shop on 95th. This is our second trip here. I think we just replayed a video of you guys from around the holidays on the feed while I was on vacation sitting on a beach. I needed material, so I put it on there.
And I was on the beach.
I was on the beach.
I like that.
And so now I'm back from the beach, and it's still cold, and I don't understand what's going on here, but you guys have a lot going on.
Yes.
And after I watched the video, I was like, man, I really need to go back there because they're involved in so many things. And I know one of the first things I want to bring up right here at the top of the show, on Thursday, you're doing the adult prom. You guys are actually DJing it, which is cool. Who's spinning the records? Is it Jeff or is it Jessica?
It's both.
It's both.
It's both.
Yeah, it's both of us. So, I know. I don't want to get the back of my head here the whole time. Yeah, it's both of us. So
It will be the both of us. We already have a couple of suggestions that have been tossed our way, so we're looking forward to it.
Yeah.
What kind of music are you going to play at? I mean, are we going slow songs? Are we trying to do things from the era? We know it's a 55 and over prom. Like, how do you plan that? Because, I went to a dance recently, or observed a dance that were younger people. They don't slow dance anymore.
No,
they don't,
no.
and that is a shame because that is the best part of the dance.
Well, that's how you
it's
get
hard
to know your date.
Well, it's hard to get the nerve up with the girl, and now you have the excuse for the hands on the waist and the slow dancing and the gazing in the eyes. And I think your crowd is older. They probably want some slow dances.
Yes.
Yeah. Well,
they're asking for Nat King Cole, Frank Sinatra.
Your traditional.
Chuck Berry. Was it
Chuck Berry is one. Yeah.
Yeah.
We're looking at the list going, how old are these people going to be? Because we actually called the village and talked to them, and we said, well, what are the main age? And they're 65, 75 years old. Are we going to get the 55s? I'm hoping. So please come 55, 60s, please. I'm 55 now. I'm double nickels. So please come to this thing. I would love to be playing a little bit more 80s stuff in this, a little bit of 2000s.
I mean, we love the stuff that's been thrown our way. Don't get us wrong. We get it.
Yeah.
It is what it is, but want to dance a little.
Yeah, because some of the stuff that is considered the dance of the day it's kind of slow, I guess you could say.
It is. Well, and then you get into Motown, though. But
Motown's good.
Motown makes you dance.
Yeah, it does.
Do you remember the first dance you slow danced to?
Of course.
And what was the first song that you slow danced to?
Oh, Lord.
Do you remember the first song?
Okay,
Or the artist? You know the
okay.
artist? You know the artist?
Oh yeah, of course.
Okay, who's the artist?
Well, I gotta tell. There's a story.
There's a
behind this.
story? Go
And
for your
it's from
story.
here- And it's from
Go
here
for
in
your
Evergreen
story.
Park. So here in Evergreen Park at Central Junior High School, yes, I will call it junior high. It was actually a vote. So the guys and the girls and everybody in the class got to vote between the two songs that were going to be for the dance in junior high. It was between Led Zeppelin and Phil Collins. Of course, all the guys, well, we voted for Zepp because you can't not have.
Right, that's what you do.
Right.
But Phil Collins won,
Phil
right?
Collins won, and against all odds is what I had my first dance with, and I can
Take a look at me now.
Oh, that's exactly it. That's exactly it. And we were like, "Are you kidding me?" But here we go. Now, if I'm correct, it was with my
Like, I haven't heard
girl.
this story, so.
Oh yeah. Yes, you have.
No, I haven't.
Yes, you have.
Oh, well.
Okay, she's
This
forgetting.
is great. This is why I do the podcast, for moments like this.
So this was, and you met her. So this was with
like,
my
okay.
not girlfriend at the time, Michelle. We're not naming last names, but we'll go first names. Michelle, hi. If you're
Common
out
name.
there, say hi. Come on in and say hi to us. But I know you met her later on.
I did.
And what it is what it is. But
Gotta
yeah,
be something about Michelle's. That was my first dance too.
it's-
First slow dance was a Michelle.
Michelle.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
dated
I'll Be There For You by Bon Jovi. That's what it was. Yeah.
a little bit later. Later. The age difference here. This is where the platinum comes in. Yes, I get it. I get it.
All right. So you've got the adult prom coming up. You've
Yes.
got a lot of things that are going on here at the
Yes.
store, so I want to make sure that I cover them. So I'm hearing all kinds of crazy ideas, including like some sort of lyric jam
You wanna
poetry
explain? Here, I'll let
thingy.
you-
What are we
Like,
calling it again?
Yeah, what are you calling this?
Well, it's like wham. You just can't say wham. It's a lyric slam.
Lyric
Right,
slam.
there-
That's what it is. A lyric
Yeah.
slam. What is a lyric slam, Jessica?
Good.
So basically what we're doing, we're going to have people sign up. They're going to come on in, and then they're going to draw a song out of this bowl.
Yeah.
And then they have to stand up on the platform, and they get to read it. They're not singing it. They are reading it.
Reading it.
So,
So-
whether they know the song
Yep.
or they don't know the song, either way, they get to read it with their interpretation. It's like anybody reading a story. But there was a comedian back in, the 60s?
Okay, we'll go with 60s. That's fine.
Go with it.
We'll go with
Nobody
it.
watching knows. You can make up whatever you want.
I know. I can't remember. I
People
know.
that are watching this are going to believe whatever you say. So just make it up and keep going.
Well,
But he used to go on like Johnny Carson,
he used
right?
to stand on it. He used to stand in front of a podium and read it, like literally read
I mean,
lyrics.
he was
So
reading
we're
it, and it was
bringing that
awesome.
back.
It's
Yeah.
really awesome. I mean, if you take something like My Funny Valentine,
There we go. I'm blocking your view.
No,
I
you're
don't want
actually
you to see. Oh, well, I thought it was.
like My Funny Valentine,
Yeah.
or just take Juice World.
Yeah.
You know, if you know who it is, great. If you don't know who it is, you get to read it, and we think it's going to be a lot of fun.
It is. It's going to be a blast.
That's
It's gonna be a
cool.
blast.
Very cool. Something else here that you might notice as you drive down 95th, and you're located. What is the intersection? You're right by the corner of.
In between, well, we're in between Kedzie and Pulaski, as I
Right.
always explain.
Well, yeah,
And
it's a
then
big
you have-
area.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But then, of course, you have Clifton Park and Central.
Central.
Yeah, you're across from the Pearl Vision.
The
Right,
Pearl
yeah.
Vision that's been there for 60 years. So, yeah, we literally are across the street from it. So, as people drive by,
Wave to them all the time.
You can, and the thing I wanted to bring up, and the reason I want to bring up your location is you keep changing the windows now. So this is
Yes.
becoming another Evergreen Park, I don't know, feature. You have a business here now that is almost putting a new display up every once in a while in
Every
the
month.
windows, and people
Every
are
month.
starting to notice it and get pretty excited about
Oh
it.
yeah, oh yeah. I mean, if we don't have anything in the windows, people are going, "What's wrong? What happened? Why is there nothing in the windows?"
it's really weird
They
how
want the
people are
stuff.
concerned about that. I'm like,
They're worried that you're leaving
I'm
because
like,
your
why are
windows.
we, yeah, we just got here. We're not going anywhere. We're
Like,
gonna
no,
be
we're
here.
right in between holidays. We're resetting.
Yeah, we always have like a give or take. My ADHD, so I'm either going to be down for a week or I'm going to be down for a couple days, depending upon when. Like this one will come down. This is our Mother's Day one, so everybody that's coming by now, you see the Mother's Day one in the window.
There's a couple of hearts in the window. There's Post-it notes. People are. Your customers are writing messages to their mothers and sticking them in the
Correct.
window, which is
Correct.
really cool.
Doing notes to mom.
Yeah.
Notes to mom, which has been really great. It's been therapeutic for some. It's been fun for everyone. But even things such as, Mom, we're out of soup.
Yeah.
Yeah, when I leave, I was going to put one up there like,
yeah.
Mom, thanks for the food. That's what I was, yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thanks for getting me through life. Yeah. I don't know any other way to put it. Thanks. Yeah.
So let's say you're starting a record collection, okay? And
Oh, you must
or
go
you're
this route
or you're
now.
going to bring a record collection. You're going to start a record collection for mom. I don't know, whoever it's going to be. It's you, your mother, whatever. But you're starting a record
Here,
collection.
I'm gonna hold this. I'm gonna stand.
What do you start with? Because we all like different kinds of music, but are there essentials that you believe it's not a real record collection unless somebody has certain albums?
Yes. I can go many different routes, but we will start with, we'll go with King Crimson. So King Crimson is a must-have.
Oh, just for the artwork.
Is it because of the
alone?
artwork?
Oh, just for the artwork alone, this is great to have on the wall. But the music, classic rock, all the way, it's definitely something you need to have in your collection. It is a must-have for pretty much everybody that's out there.
Okay.
We'll go to, well, if you don't know,
That's the wall.
Is it really?
Yeah. I mean, I'm trying to act like I know something. Yeah, it's the wall, right?
Sure, we'll go with that. Yeah, of course it's a wall. Of course this is a must-have.
I'm so worried I was wrong.
Are you sure this is the wall? It doesn't say anything on it. Yeah, this of course is a must-have. I know anything Floyd you should have in your collection. I know I'm sticking with the rock theme here, but at the same, you got to go old school Black Sabbath as well, and this is definitely one. And now that they're going to be, Ozzy's going to be on his last little leg.
He's always on his last leg.
Well, this will be the last. He's only going to do what, five songs on this thing?
And he's going to do them sitting down.
Yeah, and sitting.
Wow.
Yeah.
He's not that old. That's the rock star lifestyle right there that did that.
It's paid off. It's paid off in many ways.
He's had
for him.
fun.
I will go with, now, if you're a Steely Dan fan, I call this the Lost Steely Dan album. Now, if you know who Donald Fagen is, he is one of Steely Dan's, but this is one of my all-time favorite ones. I even love the cover because, of course, it has the record on it. So, but yes, Steely Dan fans need this. Now, I'm going to Jessica. There we go.
You need a little
Which
bit
one's
of the
this?
Cure.
The Cure?
You need
Cure.
the Cure.
Yeah.
You do. Well, either the Cure or the Smiths.
Yeah.
So you got to have something like that in your collection.
You have
Yes.
to. You have to.
Yes.
Again, these fall into many, well, I don't want to say many different genres because I got a lot of classic rock there, but you're
I
more
was a
the-
90s teen.
Yeah,
So,
she was into the goth stuff, late 80s, early
Still am.
90s. Oh, yeah, still are.
This one here, I mean, that makes sense to me. I even have a poster of these guys in my basement. So I mean, like that's an essential piece though that I needed to have down there for my bar.
Oh, yeah,
Yeah.
you need
You-
the Rat Pack stuff.
you can't go wrong.
Frank, Dean, and Sammy are the three, and you can collect them separately. You can get stuff like this where it's all together.
And it's been
great.
fun seeing all ages coming in wanting that.
Oh, yeah, from 10-year-olds all the way to, 80-year-olds.
I find it amazing how Sinatra holds up even with younger kids. And I don't know if that's because around the holidays they listen to all of his Christmas albums, so then they kind of get hooked on him, but somewhere along the line.
I don't know. I think it also has to do with just, the sound, the music, and the times.
It's very much the eclecticness of the music, but it's also the kids nowadays. They learn and they find and they just dig in and they grab, and that's kind of where that goes. Here
One
you
of
go,
my
honey.
favorites, Julie London.
Julie London. So we'll go. We want to explain the whole Loewe, Lofi.
Why Julie London?
Julie London has an incredible voice.
Yeah.
Or had an incredible voice. It's very soulful. But there's a new artist named Loewe.
Or Lofi,
Or
or
Lofi, however you want to
pronounce it.
pronounce it. She's like in her 20s,
Mm-hmm.
but she sounds like she came from that era.
Oh yeah.
So for her, she actually went into her dad's record collection and she started listening to Ella Fitzgerald and Etta James and Julie London, and that's what influenced her today. So this is a must-have.
It's crazy to think again, and we'll head there in a moment here, where the old is new again and the new is old again.
Yeah, well, and then this one here makes perfect sense to me. I mean, that's one of my first albums that I ever had, Pearl Jam 10.
You have to, again, you have to. I mean, there is not a song on this that is not going to get you going. Up, down, sideways, whatever you need to do, this is definitely that album. Would you say not? Yes?
Music
And
is
I
personal.
and I always laughed at like that era. I mean, they're still playing that on the main rock stations.
It doesn't matter.
And what's funny is that when I was in the 90s and they were new, they would never play on the same station they were on, something that was 25, 30 years old. But they are now with the new music rotated in, which is amazing.
Oh, well, hold that one. There we go. I hated when they started calling Motley Crue classic rock. Pearl Jam's now considered classic rock, boys and girls.
Shut your mouth.
Ugh, I know.
it is.
Nirvana is considered classic rock
Yes.
now. Ugh, I know.
Ask a teenager.
Yeah,
They'll
ask
tell
a
you.
That's fine. That's fine. That's fine. Guess what? Our music's the best.
Really?
Our music's the best. And that's why you keep coming to record stores and buying the old stuff, because our stuff's better. Okay?
But we also have the new stuff. I was going to go with the new.
Okay. So I was going to go with the old new.
I mean,
that's fine. That's
you
fine.
have stuff.
Show me one or two of the new ones.
So so you want to explain these? You have to. Well, you might not have to explain these to some people out there, but
we have like gaming soundtracks. So this is Cyberpunk, which is a very popular game, as well as Minecraft.
And they have soundtracks for the games, and the kids are into the soundtracks for the games.
Oh, yeah. Great. We just had Doom, also a gaming soundtrack.
Oh, yeah. Gaming soundtracks are amazing because they're going to literally bring you into that game in a different format. Plus, stuff like Minecraft, so relaxing.
It's very
so
mellow.
relaxing.
It's very mellow.
Oh, yeah.
So and it's really cool to hear these because for a lot of kids especially, and adults too, their form of listening to music is playing a video game. Yeah. So some of that music that they're listening to, they're coming. Marty Robbins became really popular again because of video games.
Yeah. That is amazing. Very, very interesting. All right, so listen, I want to make sure that we get to anything that's going on that I missed with you guys. Is there anything coming up that because I know we talked about the lyric slam. I know you're doing the prom.
Yes.
You got the window. Anything else percolating right now?
With the Village.
We're looking to do more things with the Village. We're just finalizing some things.
Yes. And we will be doing the thing on a weekly basis. So it's going to be something where we'll be out there. Our schedule for the shop, we are going to be extending our hours here, or changing our hours, I should say.
Before the end of the month.
Due to it staying lighter later, and people are coming in and wanting us to stay later, so that's kind of how that's working. But I think it's going to
it's all the events that we have coming up as well.
That's going to kind of tweak this.
As soon as we get the approvals and the okays, we'll be putting it out there.
You know, what I think is cool is that every time I come in here, you guys are always like, we're working on like these 5 things. It's very important for you guys to be a part of the community and do things with the Village and do things and have people stop in and make this kind of a place that it almost should be an appointment to pop into the record shop on 95th like once a week at some point and talk to these two. Because I'm going to tell you right now, like you saw me when I walked in there. You're like, oh, you're really quiet today, Chris. I'm like, I am so tired. My legs hurt. I wake up in the middle of the night, blah, blah, blah. And you start talking and now I'm wide awake. So, I mean, this is better than a cup of coffee getting into the record shop on 95th.
Oh, yeah.
Go ahead. No.
It's all about coming in and having some fun. We've loved people coming in and they're looking at records and then they look up and they're like, hey, how are you?
Oh, yeah.
Because they haven't seen each other in a while.
Come in, and it's crazy to see that happen here too. This is definitely a place that every age can come. Whether you've lived in Evergreen Park for 5 months or 5 years or 50 years, you're going to bump into somebody you know. And again, it's
but
a family
you said
place.
making an appointment there. It's kind of
The
funny because we do have on. There's a Sunday coming up, I think the 19th.
Yes.
We do have some kids that have made an appointment because
well, hold on. I'm going to pause you there for a second. We've wanted to do stuff like this for years.
Okay.
And finally, it seems that the lovely people of Evergreen Park kind of want to do this.
You guys are such teasers. Like I know there's something you want to tell me, and you're just like
I'm just prolonging.
That's all you do.
So
but go ahead.
We have some kids that have made an appointment, and they're going to come in here, and they're going to have their prom pictures taken in here.
Oh, that's cool.
We are going to tell everybody else that's out there, and we will post it. If they want to make an appointment for that Sunday to come in all dressed up and take a picture here at the record shop, they're more than welcome to do so.
Especially because we're normally closed on Sundays, so that's why the appointment.
It's not going to be about coming in and buying a bunch of vinyl. It's going to be coming in, taking pictures, getting excited for prom.
Exactly.
This is obviously the cool spot to be, folks. So if you have not been here, get over to the record shop on 95th. Like I said, it's on 95th in between Kedzie and Pulaski, across from the Pearl Vision. And do you have the exact address off the top of your head?
I never been.
You see, you know what? Every time I don't ask somebody who's got a shop, who's like an owner, they're like, why didn't you ask me? I'm like, well, I was afraid that you wouldn't know it. And then every time I do ask, you're like, I don't know my address. Like, it's amazing.
It's crazy. Yeah. It's really how it works because, everybody remembers their house address.
Right.
Yeah.
All right, you'll see the window as you drive down the street for sure. You'll see the window.
And we are closed on Sundays
and Wednesdays. Closed on Sundays and Wednesdays.
Now,
and so much going on here, too.
Oh, yeah.
So much going on here. Jeff and Jessica, nice enough to have me here and to show me everything they had to do with these records, the essential collections.
More, but that's fine.
That's right.
I mean, it's a half-hour podcast. I mean, you get that right.
Where are we at?
I mean,
Like 10 minutes?
we're well into this. Yeah, it's been a lot, but it's fun. That's why I'm back.
Well, that's
I'll
true.
come back again. Okay.
Well, we hope so.
We hope so.
You can always
We
tell the
hope
places
so.
I really like because I come back. So yeah. Thanks, guys.
You are very, very welcome.
Thank you. Thank you
guys.
for having us.
Building relationships, supporting the community, and service. These are the things that Country Financial stands for. They're more than just an office you may pass by as you drive through Evergreen Park. They're neighbors who lend a helping hand and support the fabric of your community, including charitable organizations, sports, financial education, and civic organizations. And since Country is already your neighbor, they want to get together and chat. Call your local Country Financial representative, Mike Thauer, today at 708-425-1559 to talk about the things that are important to you and how he can help you protect them. It's now time for your EP podcast, Word on the Street, brought to you by Spoken Vine Wine Bar and Bottle Shop, northeast corner of 95th and Kedzie. Incredible small plates, amazing wines. They're constantly doing new things. Every time you go there, it can be a brand new, wonderful experience. See everything they have to offer at SpokenVineWines.com. The Evergreen Park Public Library is offering a conversation with youth author Rebecca Gardner, who is local and has been on this show before, Thursday, May 15th at 6:30 p.m. She's going to be talking about her brand new book, Dear Boyfriend and Other High School Dilemmas. See more about that and all the other programs they have at evergreenparklibrary.org. The Farmers Market is officially open. We talked about it on the last episode, but it's happening each and every Thursday, 88th and Kedzie, 20 years in existence, 8 a.m. until 1 p.m., all the way through the end of October. Make sure you get over there right now. It's all things spring, plants, flowers. If you're going to go out, you're going to beautify the front of your home, go get it done at the Farmers Market here in the EP. And coming up on Saturday, May the 10th, 9 a.m. until 11 a.m. at the Evergreen Park Senior Center, 9547 South Holman Avenue, an electronics and household hazardous waste recycling drop-off event put on by the Village and Flood Brothers. Again, 9 to 11 in the morning over at the Senior Center. Free drop-off event for these materials. ID is required. Sitting down here at the 9-foot homemade oak bar, another guest from OSF Little Company of Mary, and this one I'm looking forward to because I just came from therapy today, and I've been going to therapy for the last couple of years, going through the divorce and the aftermath of it, and I did it once before when I was a 911 dispatcher, so I'm a big fan of therapy. It's Mental Health Awareness Month, and from OSF Little Company of Mary, Christopher Fry is with us. How are you?
I'm good. Just call me Chris.
Okay.
Yeah,
Chris,
two Chris's.
I'm Chris. You're Chris.
We can't go wrong. This is going to be awesome.
All right, awesome. So did you start off as a therapist? What is your background?
My background, I got into the mental health field a long time ago, Chris. Went through school, late 80s, graduated with my master's degree. But I got into it because my mom was a psychiatric nurse and was a nurse director of a psychiatric unit. And so that's what got me into it. Mom and I would talk and I'd hear her on calls and all that. So I had a mentor who said, hey, you want to go get your degree in social work. So I got my master's degree in social work and I'm a licensed clinical social worker.
Okay.
In the state of Illinois with an emphasis on mental health concentration. So that's what got me into the field. I've been at OSF now for a little over 20 years. As the clinical supervisor is what most people refer to me as. My job title says something a little different, but people know me as the clinical supervisor for behavioral health there. And started in the field early 90s and have just worked my way through and been at OSF Little Company of Mary. Was 20 years in
For
December.
a while now, yeah. So I'll tell you my original feelings about going and seeing a therapist and dealing with your mental health is that it was all boulder dash and poppycock. Like, I'll be honest with you, I felt like sociology classes and philosophy or well, not philosophy classes, but psychiatric classes. I took some in college. I thought they were the easiest things in the world. I would be like, what does the professor want me to say?
Yeah.
And I would just BS my way through it. So I never really took it very seriously. And when I got out of doing 10 years in 911 dispatch, I felt this weight. And that was the first time I had ever gone to a therapist. And, you know, again, I didn't really feel like what he was telling me mattered. Like, I don't even think I took it seriously. There was some help that he gave me, but like, for example, about a year into it, I asked him, what do you think my problem is? He goes, I don't think it's 911 at all. I think it's your wife. I think you should divorce her, which was the funniest thing at the time. I was like,
okay,
well, you're crazy.
He came right out with it.
You're out of your mind. He's like, no. You have a problem there. You just haven't realized it's there.
Yeah.
You fast forward 5 years later.
Yeah.
And the marriage ends because there's abuse in the house. There's actual physical abuse at the end. The police have to take the kids out of the house while I'm out of town. And then, you know, we go through this whole thing. And at that moment, I started putting the kids into therapy. And then I eventually got myself into therapy. And it turns out he was right. He recognized something that was happening for years that I was just pushing through. Yeah. And this time, I'm really open to it. And I would tell you the last 18 months, and I was just talking with my therapist about this today, have been this second coming of age where, like, you have this moment when you're younger and you start to figure yourself out. At 47, I've refigured myself out, especially over the last, I would say, 6 months to a year. There's been so much that I've started to understand. And I think it's been good for the kids. It's good for me. And what's interesting about it is, and this is kind of a little life hack for anybody, if you go through therapy, eventually you get around people you've known for years and you start to realize they're messed up. Because as you fix yourself, you kind of see the other people. And then you see the stuff that, like, I've been putting up with this forever. Why am I putting up with this? And I don't need to put up with this. And not to be combative with anybody, but just will make me happier if I handle it a certain way. Yep. And you day to day start to feel more calm, more able to handle things that are around you and understand, why did I make that choice? Why did I do this? What would I do better in the future? You reject bad relationships, and when somebody treats you badly, you gravitate towards better ones. I know I'm rambling here, but that's how I feel about it. So that's why I think it's great to have you down here, because I think most people have the same feeling I had the first time I went. This is all a bunch of crap.
Yeah. It's funny because we talk with clients that we get in the program, patients that we get in the program, that sometimes there's the surface issue that gets you into treatment, whether it's individual counseling, seeing a psychiatrist, in the hospital, in a PHP program, an IOP program. But there's the issue that gets you in sometimes, and into the process, you find out your core issues are not necessarily those. So I talk about, mental health and mental health awareness is kind of like a river, and you have these currents that are on the top that you have to take care of before you can get to the stuff that's really down below that makes you tick. And it sounds like your first experience, you were just there, you were working on some stuff.
Oh, I knew I was a mess, but I didn't know why.
You didn't know why.
Yeah, and I was like, well, it's got to be 911.
And you didn't have the insight or the awareness yet, but your therapist told you point blank, here's what my perception is, this is what I think's going on. And it sounds like it actually panned out that way.
Yeah, it's weird too, because I rejected him. I moved on from him, and I was like, well, he's nuts. Get rid of my wife. You're out of your mind.
Well, because to say yes to that, that's a biggie.
Yeah,
there's big consequences. Deal. There's big at stake.
Think about what it took for me to finally do it. Like, there was something really bad had to happen. Yes. And now you sit there and you go, okay, wait, hold on a second. And it's interesting too. You start to understand the things that you really value. Like, I have come to understand that I value empathy, I value honesty, and I value somebody who's able to say they're sorry. And if you can't do those three things, I kind of am like, good luck to you. Like, that's where I'm at. But, like, it's stuff that I put up with for years in all aspects of my life, where I would just be like, oh, that's just the way that people are. Yeah. But you don't need to put up with that. And I think that's the thing. Like, I keep saying that, and people will be like, oh, that's combative. It's really not. You just figure out what it is that will make you happy, where you're at, and then you start to grow as a person. And I will tell you this, I see a difference in my children. I see a difference in me. We have a very tight unit between my kids and me now. This foursome is really, really tight. Well, yeah. And I think that working through those things and all the stuff that had happened in the house makes a big difference. And I'll tell you this other thing, a good therapist is huge. My therapist, I think, has like like the greatest memory in the world. Never looks at her computer, never takes notes, and can remember something I told her 2 years ago.
Yeah.
Like she'll be like, oh yeah, this is like that time when you told me about when you were a kid and blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, I don't even remember telling her that.
Yeah.
A good
That's
therapist
great.
matters, like, right?
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Right. It's as much about the fit as anything else. You know, anybody can get letters after their name, and one therapist might be a good fit for somebody else, but it's about what you're comfortable with, what clicks for you. But yes, you want somebody that every time you show up, you're not having to tell your life story again.
Yeah, you don't want to do
get
that.
them on board.
No,
So
and you want
they're-
somebody that if you sit there and you say, I've done this before too with both of them. What do you think?
Yeah.
Like at some point, like
Yes.
6 months into it, be like, just tell me.
Yeah.
What do you think? Because they'll tell you.
Yeah.
If you're strong enough to hear it, they'll sit there and be like, well, this is your problem.
Yeah.
This is what you do. This is what you need to work on. This is what you're strong at. But this is what you need to work on.
Yeah.
And you just have to be honest when you're in there.
Yes.
You talk about finding the right one.
Yeah.
Like when I got my son, the one that he had after everything had happened.
Okay.
Here, there was like a list that was given to me from the group that he goes and sees.
Yeah.
And so he was able to read through a couple of profiles and he
Yeah.
picked one based on the profile.
Okay.
And it was interesting to hear what things he didn't like in their profiles and
Yeah.
what things that made him comfortable, but just involving him in the process
Yes.
and letting him pick. He's very comfortable now with the person that he talks
How
to.
old is he?
Well, I have two, and I don't want to give away which one is
Not a
which.
problem,
But
yes.
I mean, but one's 9 and one's 17. But
Yeah.
just the idea that he was able to kind of figure out.
Let him
This
make
is
the
what I wanna
decision.
do.
Yep.
Yeah.
Have his hand on the tiller a little bit to decide.
Yeah.
You know, sometimes as parents and based on age and all that, it's kind of us doing that work. But if it's, you know, a kid that we have that's able to make that decision and you know, we're feeling okay about it. Absolutely. You hit on something so important, you know, being honest. And I talk with people and we treat everything, Chris. So we're working on mental health diagnoses. It might be depression, might be anxiety. It could be bipolar illness, but we're also working on alcohol and substance abuse. And we talk all the time. You said the word, I was being honest or something like that.
Yeah.
To really have an opportunity to get recovery for whatever mental health issue it is, we've got to be as honest, open, and willing as we can. How? Honest, open, and willing. You know, the therapist said 5 years ago, here's your problem, but you just weren't open to receive that. You weren't
Like I want to
willing
find him and
maybe
tell him he was
follow
right,
through.
but he moved, so I can't even find him to tell him he was right. But I wanted
to
to
say,
tell you,
hey, guy, you were right.
big guy, I shouldn't have fired you.
Yeah.
Like,
But you know what? But it took a level of honesty.
Yeah.
People stepping back, taking some self-inventory and saying, man, I got to be honest, open, and willing. And it's super hard to do. Another big thing you hit on, you talked about basically being able to set healthy boundaries in your life with other people. That is key to mental health. You know, sometimes people are the go-to in the family. They say yes to everything. I'll fix that for you. I'll fix that for them. And in the process, they're losing themselves. You know, being able to set healthy boundaries is very hard to do for some, to say no and feel okay with it.
and when somebody doesn't respect the boundary, being able to say, okay, then cool, good luck. And that and it's become a thing that I've been able to do lately that I don't think I've been able to do for a long time. Yeah.
It's super hard because a lot of people are so concerned. I said no, now they're mad at me.
Right.
Now they don't like me. And what's the consequence going to be in the family or the friend
Yeah, now
group?
my thing is get on the list. So
But that's growth.
Yeah.
To be able to be comfortable with that because it's very hard to get there. Setting healthy boundaries is key.
So if somebody wants to talk with somebody, and like you said, there's bigger things. There's heavy depression. There's alcoholism. But it also might be, you know, you're just feeling overwhelmed. You're feeling stressed. You feel
For
like
sure.
things are kind of spiraling, and you just need somebody to talk to. Because honestly, half my thing is me saying this was happening. This is how I felt. I started working through it this way, and then having that person just get me across the finish line because I can't get there. So the
Yeah.
therapist helps with that kind of stuff. And
sure.
also having somebody who backs you up every once in a while.
Yeah.
Where you sit there and go, I decided to do this. Was I right?
Yeah.
That was probably the healthy way to handle it.
Yeah.
And that helps. If somebody wants to start this kind of a journey
Yeah.
during Mental Health Awareness Month, How do they do it? What's the best way to find a therapist?
Yeah.
Reach out to OSF.
Yeah.
Kind of explore it.
No. Thank you for that. We have in our hospital, our facility, our department, we have an outpatient behavioral health department, and I'm going to give their phone number. We have some psychiatrists, we have some therapists, but that number is 708-422-5090. And that's our ambulatory outpatient clinic. So if somebody needs to seek therapy, you could go see a therapist, and that therapist may say, wow, I'm really concerned about your depression. Maybe you could use some medication. I'd like to give you a referral to a psychiatrist. A psychiatrist is an MD that can provide some medication to help with symptoms. Some people require therapy and medication. It's all good.
Everybody's that's the thing. When you speak with people, they have all these different initials, and it used to be confusing to me. But what you have to understand is, if they're not the right person for you, they're going to tell you need to go to this instead.
That's correct.
And that's the most important thing. If you're going to somebody independently who's just like they're going to say, I can handle this, I think it's better to go to a group.
Yes.
Like I go to a group because the group then sits there and says, you know what? I'm not the right person for you, but we have this other person down the hall that's perfect for what you need.
Got it.
And I think that's also a big step to trying to find the right person to sit down and talk with. And this is from somebody who I had to search for therapists for children, for me. I made switches, I made changes. And it felt overwhelming. Yeah. But there's a path to it. Yeah. And once you get to the end of it, you just feel so much better.
Very challenging because there are so many providers out there. There are so many providers. You looked at it with your son, and there's so much out there. It's about finding the right fit. Of course, we want them to be knowledgeable, know what they're doing and all that type of stuff. Hugely important, but to have the right fit. But then we also have a partial hospitalization and an intensive outpatient program at OSF Little Company in the behavioral health department. And partial hospitalization is a day treatment program, runs Monday through Friday from 9 till 3. And then our intensive outpatient is from 9 till noon. And we're treating every diagnosis in there, Chris. Again, I may be there for depression. I may be there for alcohol. I may be there for both. But the number for our department there is 708-422-0110. But that's just us and what we provide. There are providers all over the place. Yeah. And Google, the internet's a wonderful tool these days. Of course, I'm going to say come to OSF. I want you to. I know our providers are great. I know our programs are great. There's nothing better. I say to people, there is nothing better than having a front row seat on somebody getting recovery for whatever illness it is. That's what keeps me coming back to do this every day.
Oh, I think my therapist gets a kick out of my stories. I think she said she gets a free radio show for an hour. Every week.
And it's so cool. And it's got to be for her to see the growth in you and all that. Yeah. The hard thing is we can't make anybody do anything. You're willing to do the work. Yeah. You were willing to do the work for your kids, and I applaud you for that.
Well, thank you.
And you talked about you guys are a unit. You get foxhole mentality sometimes. When you go to battle with a unit, as you described it, your family, and it sounds like what you went through. And if everybody is healthy enough to get some help and work through that, man, that bond between you gets really tight. I love how you describe it.
This group is tight. Oh, this is you say something bad about somebody in this group to somebody else in this group, and they're not going to put up with it. This is the tightest group. I thought my family was tight until we went through something bad. Then you go through something bad, and you go through all the therapy and stuff like that. And I just feel like it is just the tightest unit in the world. I wish every family could be as tight as this group is right here. Yeah. Chris Fry. Nice to have him down here from OSF Little Company of Mary. I could talk to you for an hour.
Sounds good.
We'll have to do it some other time.
Yes.
And osfhealthcare.org. You can actually put that in to look at the entire system, or you can put in osfhealthcare.org/hospital/Little Company of Mary if you want to go to them directly. I think I put in osflittlecompanyofmary.org, and it took me to that website.
I'm sure probably
So there's a lot of different ways to get there. So if you want more information, you gave out some great phone numbers, and you're welcome back anytime. Thank you.
Great. Thank you. Nice to meet you.
It's the EP Podcast, all things Evergreen Park. It's the EP Podcast. Evergreen Park.